Welcome to the final episode of Marty's Minute Meditations for the year. Wow, quite a journey. We've had communication with our penis. We've had communication with our inner child. We had a conversation with ourselves. We learned to love our bodies. So many journeys, and sometimes we, in the coming year, we may cycle back to a lot of that. Because that's what it is, isn't it? Life is cycles. Not bicycles. Not cyclones. Not menstruations. Cycles. We go through cycles. And that's a very important thing to understand. These cycles. Because if we really tap into these circular modes of living, then we understand the places that we constantly revisit. Sometimes you go back home. You go back home for the holidays, and you see family, and you're reminded of what that means to you. Maybe you love your family. Maybe you're happy to see them. Maybe you feel rejuvenated by their presence. Maybe you feel supported by your family, right? You have conversations, you joke, you just have great moments that you can store in your memory and look back on and go, "Aw, family." Great memories. Maybe you don't like your family. Maybe you despise your family. Maybe every time you go home, you get into these very fiery arguments. Maybe they question what you're doing with your life. Maybe they just keep nagging you about what you're doing. What are you doing, Yeah, that's really interesting. How's your podcast doing? And they have that face like they're judging you, but you don't let it get to you. You don't let it get to you. You really put out the positive vibes. Right? Because you don't want to make the holiday a negative experience. But then your Aunt Sally says something really off the cuff, Like, "Oh, how's that psychology degree working out for you?" She always brings that up. Maybe she always brings it up every holiday. Maybe on Facebook, she just brings it up randomly. On your wall. Where everyone can see. And then people comment and go, "Yeah, how is that psychology degree going?" And you go, "I don't really want to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it." But maybe your Aunt Sally just keeps badgering on and on because she's had, 5 white wine spritzers. And she just wants to really rail into you about it. How's that psychology degree going? Marty? How's your student debt? Still a vegetarian, I see. If you ate more meat, maybe you would pack on more muscle. You'd look more like a man. Look more like a man. Aunt Sally? You know who looks a lot like a man? Is you, Aunt Sally. So maybe you should put the sausage down and take a break. Because you look like a plumber. Now, of course you don't say that to Aunt Sally's face. Of course you don't say that to Aunt Sally's face. You don't want to body shame. Nobody should body shame. But sometimes when somebody body shames you, the best thing to do is body shame them back. So they understand what it feels like. I think in order to change people, you really have to, how do I word this? If you want to change someone's behavior, there's something to be said about the old proverb of an eye for an eye, right? Because then if you take someone's eye out, and they take your eye out, you understand that when you took their eye out, they were unable to see out of that eye. And now wow, when I took that person's eye out, I realize now that they were unable to see. Now I know, because I've experienced it, first-handed, that I cannot see out of the eye. I have caused blindness, but now I see. See? Interesting, right? Interesting. So maybe body shaming is okay if you do it back to them. I think that's okay. I think that works because you need to teach them a lesson, right? I think a lot of culture right now, we're doing that. I think a lot of it is an eye for an eye right now. People are mad about the oppression that has happened, so they're trying to oppress others. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. That's what rehabilitation is. Make the other person suffer so they know what it feels like. That's love. That's love for other people. Sometimes you need to teach them the hard way. You know? It's like if you, when you're a child and you hit your sister and your father goes, now your sister can hit you back. And so she hits you and he goes, no, you can do it again. And she hits you again. And then your father just keeps telling her to hit you. And she hits you and she hits you. And by the end, you know not to hit your sister. Don't hit your sister. Because getting hit hurts. It hurts, right? And causes long-lasting emotional damage. So you should thank, if your father and your sister did that, you should thank them. Because now you know. Right? You know, and maybe it's really difficult to speak to them at the holidays, right? But at least you know you're a better person for it. You're a better man for it, right? So with the new year, you want to make new changes, right? Maybe you do want to put down the sausage, right? You want to put down the sausage. Maybe you want to do something with that psychology degree, or you already are doing something with that psychology degree, right? You know what you're doing with it. You understand. You know, meditating is about the mind. Going into the mind. We have plenty of discussions about the mind on this show. I explore those things all the time because of my knowledge about the mind, Aunt Sally. Okay? So if you doubt my use of my psychology degree, then maybe you should tune in to Marty's Minute Meditations once in a while. It's not just for men. I've told you that before. Okay? Stop posting those things to my wall so that maybe I can accept more people into my circle. Because sometimes people judge you when they read what's on your wall. When there's comments that are posted that, aren't really thoughtful or considerate. Maybe they doubt your ability to communicate. Aunt Sally? Okay. Anyway, so it's the end of the year. Wow, guys, we made it. And to all you men that have made some changes in your life, I really applaud you. This is a round of applause for you and for me, right? Because I've helped you through that. It's really hard to make changes and really look back on what this year was, right? What were the changes that you wanted to make? What were your resolutions at the beginning of this year? Did you go through with them? If not, that's okay. You can't beat yourself up about that. Or maybe you should beat yourself up about it. You know what? Yeah. Maybe that's the way to solve this problem. Instead of a meditation today, I know you're all hungry for meditations, but sometimes you have to earn it, okay? So for the new year, I want you to earn your meditations, okay? And this is how I want you to earn it. I want you to think about the resolutions you want to make in your life, okay? Think about the resolutions you want to make, right? And if you don't succeed in them, be hard on yourself. If you go for that drink and you said you'd want to stop drinking, then slap that hand away. Ow! Right? Really do that to yourself. If you're not working out, look in the mirror and just look at your, body and feel ashamed. Hate yourself. Go, I hate this body. I hate you, body. Really, really put yourself through it, okay? It's like your dad telling your sister to hit you, right? You need to feel that so you know what it feels like. So you avoid it. And you don't do that to yourself, right? And I think that's the thing that men need to deal with, right? We need to hate ourselves. Especially white men. We really need to hate ourselves for what we've done. Because I know that I've done plenty that I should be ashamed of. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and I hit myself and I go, shame, shame, you suck. I hate you. I hate you. I look in the mirror and I go, oh, you're worthless. You're worthless. I hate you. If you're looking at a woman with just sexual thoughts, I think you should hit yourself in the face and go, no, you gross pig man. You dog. Just roll up a newspaper and just slap yourself on the nose. Right? Just treat yourself like a dog because that's what you are. And I think that's the new way to approach this year, right? Make the cycle new. Make it fresh. Sure, we encounter the same issues, but we have to approach it a new way. Try it out. Give it a try. Maybe it'll work for you. Maybe it will. Everyone's trying to be too nice and gentle, right? But if we want to make changes, then really put yourself in the position where you want to make those changes. Really push yourself. That's how change is made. Right? Wow, I'm excited about this new one. I'm excited about this new method. Try it out. Give it a shot. Okay? We talked about self-love, like loving yourself and loving your body. But I have a psychology degree, so maybe there's a new way to get there. Maybe the best way to do it is hating yourself for a little while. Being mad at yourself. Hating your body, right? Maybe that's the best way to do it. Wow, that was a lot. And before I wrap up this episode, I wanted to have one more episode before the end of the year, right? Before the cycle of 2019 was over and we leapt into 2020. We opened that door and we experienced that new energy. I wanted to leave, 2019 with a positive note, a really strong positive note. And I also wanted to kind of just, to put out my expectations to you. As a man who wants to help men change, I see the world and I go, wow, man, we're not really doing very well. We're not doing very well. We're not changing. We're not making the world a better place. And so I knew I had to say something. So I apologize if, this episode seems really rushed or jumbled. Marty's got a lot of thoughts going on. I feel very strange lately. I don't know. I'm really stepping back into the past and realizing where I'm coming from. And I think that's an important thing to do. Remember where you come from. Remember who you are. Remember who you are and who you were. So you think about who you can be. Do you want to be a new man for the new year? Do you? Do you, though? I'm really asking you, men, so don't lie to me. I know you might be driving in your car and going, yeah, of course I want to be a new man. Don't lie to me, because Marty knows. Because Marty's lied to himself plenty of times. So I know when I've been lied to, okay? Having said that, if you're a man that loves change, if you're a man that loves to be challenged, then visit my Patreon page. Become a patron. Donate monthly. Because if I get more support, then I can spend more time giving men support. Okay. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of fan mail. And soon, with the new year, I promise, one of my resolutions is to really visit these emails and really start to delve into them individually and start answering some questions. I know a lot of men are getting really mad at me and some are getting heated. And I know it's because, you're scared. You're scared. You're placing your self-hate on somebody else when it should be, like what we've just discussed, it really should be focused on you so that you can change, okay? So with that being said, take a look at my Patreon, and I'll definitely see you next year. But I want to end with a meditation, okay? I do want to end with a meditation. I think you've earned it. Marty really went off. Marty really went off there, and you listened and you stuck with it. And so I want to give you a meditation, okay? So, just remembering what 2019 was for you, what this past year was, what it did for you, what it was like. What were your successes? What were your failures? Remembering that those are both the same thing. A success is a failure, and a failure is a success. These are all words that trick the mind, right? These are words that society and culture and the government have kind of put out into the ether so that we're kind of living in this delusion, right? So remembering to forget about that. Remember to forget, okay? And just imagining what 2020 brings. So close your eyes as long as, like I said, as long as you're not driving or operating heavy machinery. And imagine who you are now and who you want to be in 2020. What does that look like? What are you doing? Are you with a new partner? Are you in a new home? Breathe that in. Breathe in all those images, Maybe right now you're in an apartment, right? And, you're eating ramen, or canned Campbell's soup every day. Imagine that you're eating lobster, right? And steak. Like, I'm not. But if that's what you like, imagine that. You have a very attractive partner, right? Maybe you look in the mirror and you've got so many more muscles. And you're so strong. And you look at yourself and you go, wow, I really look like a man now. Right? Imagine that. Manifest that image. That's there. Remembering that every year is a cycle. We visit every season again. You go back to your job. Nothing's really changed, right? We keep going through the same motions every day, every week, every month, every year. It's always the same, right? Remembering that nothing changes, nothing is different. Even if you change your job, even if you change a partner, it's still the same thing over and over. And you still get caught in this cycle, and very much like a cycle, it's circular. It's a spiral, and it just keeps spiraling downward from life to death. Remembering that, understanding that at the end of your life, you die. What does that mean? When the cycles just spiral downward into the abyss. What does that mean? And breathe and think about that. And really imagine that abyss. And remember that as you enter the new year. And remember that, sure, we all want to change. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and at the end of the year, it really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So thanks for tuning in to the final episode of Marty's Minute Meditations for the year. It's been great having you guys. And I really hope that you tune in again next year. Because there's always work to be done, right? I guess there's always work to be done. until next time, I'll be here, waiting, ready to meditate.